right, this is part 2 of week 7. I had to split it up into 2 because it was so long in it. I think it'll help. So, part 2, this would be what you would have done during your second synchronous day for week 7. So, writing prompt, again, we're going to practice figurative language. So, I want you to describe either your week, your most recent day, or just the year in general using an oxymoron. So it might take a second to try to brainstorm and think of an example, but here are some for me to kind of get you going. Today has slowly become the quickest part of this week. This week has felt strangely familiar, like deja vu. So remember, oxymoron is when you're taking two words that are opposite meanings, slow and quick, strange and familiar, and you're using them to describe something in a way that creates a different meaning. So go ahead and write your example here, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so last video we talked about name poems, how it's important to recognize different attributes of your name. Names they exist for a reason. Everybody has one. Just things in general have names. We have to identify different things in life. And in partnership with that and thinking about your name and how that connects to your identity, we're going to look at where I'm from poems. Now, this is not necessarily black and white in the sense that we're looking at like the town that you were born in or your literal house that you are living in or grew up in, because like my sweet inspiration, Leslie Knope, it's not where you're born that matters, it's where you're from. And where you're from can mean a lot of different things. So I'm going to tell you more about that. So this is a poem by Renee Watson. If you click this link, you can actually hear her recite it. Her voice, she's reading it, so you can listen to it and follow along. So I want you to read this poem and just think about, what do you notice? What are some things about this poem? Think about, all like big 6 elements. What are tools? What's the speaker? Things like that. I want you to pay attention to some details, and then we're going to look at another poem. Okay, this one is another Where I'm From poem. It's called I Am From Soul Food and Harriet Tubman by Leilani Blake. So I want you to read it again, and then answer these questions. What tools did you notice? What details about the speaker did you notice? What can you infer about the speaker based on those details? And how does the speaker feel about where they're from? How do you know? Give me some examples and some details. So go ahead and read this twice and answer these questions. Okay, I don't need to introduce this or model how to use it because you did that with our name poem graphic organizer. So I want to show you, though, my model. So this is a Where I'm From graphic organizer. It's the same format, but different questions, different prompts than our name poem. I haven't finished filling mine out yet, but you can see the majority so far. So again, you're going to double click. And when you do that, it should open up this, and then you can start actually typing. And then you want to make sure that you hit save and close when you're done. So sayings that spill out and remind you of your home. For me, I thought about growing up how my dad would quote movies all the time. So I thought of 2 very specific ones. So you're telling me there's a chance. That's a quote from Dumb and Dumber. Or, you serious, Clark? That's from Christmas Vacation. So my dad would quote movie quotes all the time. That's just something that reminds me of where I'm from, my childhood. And then this is a quote that reminds me of also my childhood growing up. What do you want for dinner? Well, what are the options? My mom would make dinner almost every night. It was very rare for us to go out to eat, and often she would ask us, what do you want for dinner? And I thought that was such a vague question, so I would respond with, well, what are the options? Like, give me some choices. So something that I remembered about my home, where I'm from. Names of foods and dishes that you recall at family gatherings or holidays, things like that. Pasta ciatti or pasta chaat. That is an Italian dessert. It's kind of like a really small chocolate pudding pie. You can do different fillings. My grandpa was full Italian, 100% full-blooded Italian, and we would make those during Christmas time or sometimes Thanksgiving. Eggnog cake is a special recipe cake that we make during Christmas time. It has a lot of cool family history in terms of my grandma on my mom's side. And then homemade pizza, we would make homemade pizza almost every Friday and kind of have like a movie night when I was growing up. Tri-tip, I love tri-tip. I grew up eating it. My dad would make it, and when we would go down to visit my Aunt Kathy in Southern California, her husband, my uncle, would make it, and she would make her famous garlic bread. So just a few ideas. Names of places where you keep childhood memories. Solvang in Santa Maria, California. My dad's side of the family, he grew up in California and they still lived there, and we would go there almost every summer to visit them. So those are two places that are very near to me. Monmouth Independence is where I grew up, so that has a big impact on where I'm from. West Salem Foursquare Church is a very specific place. I started attending there when I was in high school, and I still do, and it's very important to me in my life. And then Camp Crestview, that is the first and only summer camp that I went to as a student in my youth group, and it's where I met my husband so long ago. Names of relatives, especially ones that you link to your past. These are people that are very special to me, and I have specific relationships with them that really impact my identity in terms of where I'm from and my family. So won't go into that too much. But the other two that I have yet to complete that you will make sure to complete in yours as well. Items found around your home and your yard. This could be your home. If you don't want to talk about your specific house, talk about the city that you live in, the place where you live, maybe your state. You can be as broad or as specific as you want to, as long as you're on topic. So this could be like the car in the garage. This could be the dog outside. Just things. What's around you and where you live. And then items found in your neighborhood. This is very specific in that I want you to think about, where do you live? What are some items in your neighborhood? Is there a bus stop? Is there a park? Is there apartments? There's apartments near where I live. So things like that. So you will fill that out, and then you will see, I haven't uploaded them currently, but there's going to be some more examples of different name poems and where I'm from poems. They're not required for you to answer those questions for these ones, but they're just more ideas to help you. So to finish, you need to make sure that your Where I'm From graphic organizer, the one I just showed you, is completed and submitted to me on one of these dates based off of your cohort, because we have to have them ready to go for next week. So that is week 7. If you have any questions, let me know.